it, and anyone who joins me on live, they are all welcome. But I just want to talk about the issue of this EFCC in Nigeria. And when it comes to the issues of EFCC, everyone needs to be able to pay attention that EFCC stood for something. They call them Economic and Financial Crime Commission or whatever they call their name. I used to advocate for Nigeria to be a better country in a sense that I tell the Yahoo boys or Nigerians who are participating in fraudulent acts to stop. Even before I was being accused, and I had my own issues and the rest of it. But wherever you go in anywhere in the world today, people have a common understanding or a common definition for Nigeria. And their definition for Nigeria is a corrupt country. And when I look at our law enforcement, I begin to ask a question. Most of them pretend that they are going after the youth and they want to bring law and order to the country. But in fact, corruption of a country simply means that the law enforcement of that country are actually corrupt. Any corrupt country simply means that the law enforcement of that country is corrupt, not just the people. The people are just subsidiary. If the law and order does not hold any ground, that is when corruption actually spill out everywhere. And the EFCC of Nigeria, in my opinion and in my observation, has been one of the contributing factor of not letting justice prevail in Nigeria. And what do I mean by that? When you want to fight corruption, you do not fight corruption from the root. You fight corruption from the top. Corruption is not a tree. Corruption does not grow on tree. Corruption is an idea of humans. And the reason why I said this is because in a country that is assumed to be filled with corrupt people, the thing that happens is that apart from the law enforcement being corrupt, it simply means there are certain people who feed those particular law enforcement within that country. And our EFCC in Nigeria paying attention to just going after the people below, going after the Yahoo boys, and leaving those who tends to be, what do we call them? Prime minister, governors, senators, or whoever they are in the political space, actually affect us the more. Why? Because a lot of these people are the ones that actually recruit the poor people. And if the rich, those who have money, pays the law enforcement to bribe them, and they can recruit poor people simply because they are poor, they bribe them to join and become a force. That is how corruption continues. There is no law enforcement in any organization, in any country, that can kill out corruption by going after the people that are beneath. The only way to subdue corruption is to go after the people that tends to be at the top. Because the people at the top are the ones who recruit the ones beneath. If there is no abject poverty, if I am doing very well in my life, if I do not need the help of a government or someone to give me a contract to go and steal pipeline and to go do something that is illegal, that is against the law of the country, why will I have issues? Why will someone recruit me? Why will I subdue myself to taking an action that will land me in jail and will take me away from my family? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm making it out today to be very clear that there is no corrupt country without a corrupt law enforcement. because the law enforcement of each country is to uphold the law. About 2 weeks ago, there was a video that came out, and there was a lady. Probably the lady was moving with all these Yahoo guys. I have no clue about it. But she was in an hotel, and that video is actually on live on Instagram. And the EFCC tried to break in her house. She was probably in a hotel, and they begin to bang the door, that they broke the door, and they came in. Now, what is the work of the EFCC? The work of the EFCC was actually to apprehend someone for committing a cyber crime or someone looting money. According to the guy who came up right now, the EFCC chairman, who said if he did not get hold of Yaya Bello, that means he's going to retire. And he's not doing anything. In fact, this same individual has certain enforcers, and these enforcers went after a lady. This is not a guy. There are about 5 EFCC guys break into a lady's apartment in an hotel, and they begin to slap this lady, and it's on camera. And it baffles me that Nigerians ignore it. Yes, people started looking at the aspect that why would there be a camera in the hotel that the lady is staying? Why would there be camera in an hotel that someone is staying? Probably that would be wrong. Should the hotel people be, should they be sued? Yes, I would agree they should be sued. But the point at hand is that the life of that lady was in jeopardy. Shiza, I've not been to New Zealand. I haven't. So the life of this lady was at stake, and EFCC were attacking this particular individual, rather for Nigerians to come up together and find a way to support this lady. I'm not saying whatever she's doing is right. Yes, she has committed a crime. We don't know. We have no clue about it. But there was an evidence that was put out to the public. And what the public felt that was necessary to discuss about was to discuss about why should there be camera inside the hotel room. Please, if you're joining me, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. If you want to like, if you want to share, I would appreciate every support I can get. How does law enforcement operate in other countries, and why can't it be applicable to people here in Nigeria? We may lie. We may debate the idea that one of the reasons why there's corruption in Nigeria is because of poverty. And I tell people this, that if anyone think that anyone who steal or that have a belief that they can never steal in life, I tell that person that you have never gone hungry before. If you have not been hungry in your life before, and when I mean serious hungry, not just the one that you did not eat for one day and all of that, that's not hunger. That's not hunger. We're talking about for months, you don't know what to eat, you don't know how to feed. Welcome, Riley. You don't know what to eat for about weeks, for months. You cannot change morality, or you cannot expect people to act in a particular way when the necessary things they need to help them act as human is taken away from them. Poverty is one thing that contributes to the corruption of Nigeria. And I know it is deliberate. But I'm saying that if we have to fight corruption, and if we have to look at the aspect that this country needs to be something that we can, call a home, we have to look at it from the aspect of the law enforcement, because these are the people who are trying to make the change within the country. And funny enough, one thing that I understand about the black cops, and maybe it's just a perception, maybe it's just a false perception. I think that the way the white cops operate with their people are different from the way the black cops operate with their people. And don't call that racist. That's not a statement of racist. I think that when the white cops find people who has actually commit crime, who are actually white, they are going to warn you and they give you certain grace. And in fact, when you get arrested or you are in jail, they give you kind of serious warning and every support to make sure you're acting proper. But when it comes to the aspect of blacks, Africans, when we are going after our people because we are in a position to enforce law, we are seeking for a way to destroy them. And we think that we are heroes by destroying our people. And I have an example of it. During the time that I had an experience of being in the police custody earlier this year, the person who came to arrest me, they were about 4 in numbers. Initially, when they came around 2023, they were about 4 in numbers. These 4 people, about 2 of them tends to come from my state. These people wanted to know the truth about the issue, so it has nothing to do with maybe we are from the same state or not. They want to find out what the truth is. Now, there's this other guy, 2 other guys who tend to be Yorubas, who are also from my tribe, not necessarily from my state, but they are my tribe. They are Yorubas. When they did their investigation and they realized that I was saying the truth, and there was nothing they can use in pinning me down because I could articulate my word properly. And despite the fact they tried to interrogate me, to find a way to get me, there was nothing substantial they could use against me. What happened was that when the organization who were against me went back to the people, they removed the 3 people who came for me. These are almost 3 inspectors. And they single-handedly picked one who hated me. That one was so much, oh, I'm from Nigeria. Welcome. I'm from Nigeria. If you haven't subscribe to my channel. Thanks. I'm from Nigeria. So what I was narrating was, they still use a guy from my tribe to come against me. And when this guy came the next time, he was a little bit skeptical, and he was kind of afraid when he was coming after me, because he knew that whatever he did to me, I was definitely going to bring it out to the public. And so he was a little bit, will I say he's being logical or being careful, but he still deliberately, when he held me the second time, he smuggled me into the police custody. I never knew that a policeman, a law enforcer, can smuggle someone into the police custody. Only in Nigeria, that's when I know. You can smuggle someone in and smuggle someone out. So that means before they came after me, they've already made certain arrangements to pay for court, for federal high court. In fact, when I was in jail, there was a propaganda by the organization going that I was going to spend 6 months or a year in jail. I was in jail and I was receiving call and they were telling me that same thing. So the state at which we had our issue, they could not go to that state. The state at which they felt like maybe I committed a crime in their own eyes by speaking about what I saw with my 2 naked eyes, and I tell them that what you are doing is not proper. This organization, you are acting as criminals. You are not upholding to what you promised the clients that are investing in your organization. You are not doing that. We can see there are evidence to it. And you call that defamation of character, that I tell you the truth. Or in Nigeria, there's something that is kind of funny these days, that whenever you talk about any organization, be it true, all the organization have to do is to lay reports to the law enforcement. And the law enforcement, as long as they've received money, as long as law enforcement in Africa or in Nigeria, let me not use Africa in general, because Nigeria is the most, I hate saying it, but it's still one of the most corrupt countries, simply because we have corrupt law enforcement, lawmakers, governors, leaders, maybe including corrupt people. But if we are expecting anything to change as people, we have to start thinking, and we have to start thinking of ourselves as people by trying to make sure that while you are fighting corruption, you're fighting it just to be able to make sure that there's sanity within the people. Not because you hate those people. There are a lot of people that the EFCC, Nigeria EFCC, goes against these individuals, and these people are those who you can just give certain warning and you tell them, okay, don't do this, or hold on to their account and the rest of it and let them be. But the moment Nigeria law enforcement holds you, they most likely would not do any verification. Because if they are doing their due diligence or duties, you don't have to go through a lot of trials or them charging you to court. They will, the moment Nigerian law enforcement hold you, the moment they just throw you straight, go to court. And the reason is because when you go to court, they know you will go to jail. It doesn't matter. There is no case. In fact, when it comes to my own issues, when I was having my own issues, the judge himself was looking at the paper that they brought in front of him. The judge was saying that this particular stuff you guys are bringing to me, it's not what you're supposed to bring to the court. And despite that, he said I should be remanded. That's an amazing reality of Nigeria. Yo, bro, do you remember me from like 2 weeks ago when I asked to say happy birthday to Leon and Sophia? Yeah, I do. Valerie Quintero. Yeah, I do. Welcome. So this is the reality of Nigeria. Welcome back. How are your people, Mr. Valerie? So this is the reality of Nigeria. And when I look at people tell me, there are a lot of people who go to other countries, and this is one question I ask myself sometimes. Certain blacks are in the Western country, and they have the desire to come back to this country, to come back to Nigeria or to Africa. And when they look at us from that particular spot, they kind of have a view or perspective about Nigerians or Africans that we are acting in a way that is not orderly. I don't know if I should be reading right now, but let me take my time out to attend to you guys a little bit, and then I'll go back, because I have a question I actually want to raise. I said that I probably won't see you again, but I stayed positive and I was actually looking for you for so long. Oh, thank you, Ms. Valerie Quintero. You could just subscribe, and if you subscribe, or you join membership if you can. If you can't, just subscribe so you can always have new videos. Good luck, Dingewo. Thank you very much. Valerie. Someone said, read my upper message. Okay, let me try and do that. Okay, you said, okay, where am I from? I answered you the other time, but you probably did not hear me. I said, I am from Nigeria, Africa, Nigeria specifically. The name that terrifies most people. But on a reality standpoint, when I look at people from Western culture, most especially the blacks who has been there, and they say that they want to come back home to Africa, to Nigeria, and they say that Nigeria is not in order. But they say that that same place they are, the laws are just too much. Now, that brings me to the next subject. When you go to the Western country or to the first world country, you say that the laws are too much. When you come to the African country or Nigeria, the third world country, you complain that the country is too corrupt. What is the problem? What is the challenge between we as humans? Is it simply because the laws there are more suitable to certain group of people or certain race of people? Or is it that we battle between corruption and law? What's our perspective on it? Every idea, every comment is welcome on this particular question. Okay, Mr. Valerie Quintero, I will be on live, I think by Thursday. I should be on live by 9 a.m. 10. I will be on live. I will be on live. So I'm throwing a question out to us today. Why do we have challenges between, yeah, why do we have challenges and what is the problem? Is it because of the law there are suitable to certain people and are not suitable to you? So when you come back to Africa and you perceive or you think that we are very corrupt, I can agree that there is a lot of corruption within our country. And part of the people who make the corruption what it is today in Africa are the law enforcement. Are we going to say the lawmakers? Probably. But I don't think as a human being that there's any law you can set in life that people cannot manipulate it. So laws are meant for certain people. You might say the law is for everyone, but laws are actually meant for certain people who don't want to follow the law. The question is that those who decide to uphold the law are those who have moral grounds or who probably have the mindset of doing what is right. And do we say that people are doing what is right simply because of the privilege or the things that they are able to benefit? Or do we say that people are not upholding the law simply because of the turmoil within the country? I keep wrapping my head around these issues of why Africans act the way they act. And our corruption in Nigeria when it comes to our law enforcement is top notch. Corruption in Nigeria is top notch because the law enforcement agency, they are quick to go after those who are within the low rank or the low, middle, poor people. It's like it gives them, they have this dopamine when they go after these individuals. But when it comes to the leaders or when it comes to certain politicians, bribing them, giving them money, oh no, they never go against those people. EFCC, law enforcement chairman, said that he wants to go after an individual called Yahya Bello. And if he could not apprehend that man, he's definitely going to quit. He's going to retire. Right now, he's arresting over 200 people, 150 people, and is proud on it, making media, doing a lot of production. But when you cannot even stand by your own word, Yaya Bello, when you cannot stand by your own words, then it shows exactly what the law enforcement of Nigeria is all about. So I will be summarizing that for today. I'm right here available. I'll be giving out few moments to see if there's any question you want to ask me. Those who are live, I'm available to answer your questions. It doesn't necessarily have to be with the topic that I spoke about. Any other thing. Yes, sir. Good luck. Then you. The rich are above the law in Nigeria till tomorrow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Realistically, in my experience in jail, I saw a lot of rich people there, but they know how to buy their way out. And in fact, when you call somewhere a jail, and that means a jail, you call it a correctional facility or correctional center, you're going to see a place where, let me just gist you guys this. When you go to Nigerian jail, Ikoyi Correctional Center, for example, there are places that you go. I don't know if I should say this because I'm in court and I'm handling some things, but there are places you go and you will be so surprised that you can pay 1 million naira and they are going to give you certain privilege to stay in certain areas. And you have different securities, different privileges. Now, I heard that probably the same thing is applicable to every jail, even in the Western country. But I'm like, why would you be special in jail if you had committed a crime? And you will be so surprised that someone like me who is accused of defamation, I'm being accused of defamation. In fact, there's no evidence to back it up that I defame anyone. But when they took me to jail, they put me with the people who are murderers and killers, those who are kidnappers, those who are accused of that same crime. So why is the privilege? You can steal 20 billion in Nigeria or 10 billion or 1 billion, whatever billions they feel like stealing, and they give you certain privilege in jail. In that jail, there are different kind of jail. You can make a decision to move to another jail, and in that jail, you have visitation. I heard, and I know you can do some things more or less like you're just living your average normal life. But when it comes to the people that don't have, now it becomes a different ball game. Those in privileged cell, everyone has a phone. I heard that certain people watch TV, DSTV, and the rest of it. So if I can have access to every single thing, you just restricted me from moving to places that I want to move. What is the correction about? And I've made a video about it. If you probably go through some of my channel, some of my videos in my channel, you realize I've spoken about the fact that most of these fraudulent people who are being apprehended in Nigeria jail, they still go ahead doing a lot of deals inside the jail. They still make a lot of business, a lot of contracts. They still have contracts. There were these particular guys in my cell at that particular time. There was a man who said he was once a custom boss or something, director and the rest of it. He was working with few people. They were in jail. They were defrauding certain organizations. I wouldn't know if they were, but they were selling diesel. People that were in jail were making money, millions, selling diesel. How? And they are being apprehended by was it by EFCC? Okay, DSS. These people were being brought in by DSS. And for fraudulent act, this is the reason why they went after these people, because they had a federal case. And the federal case was you took money from the federal capital or something, maybe a contract, and you did not do the stuff. And those people were in jail, they were still doing a lot of business. So I ask myself a question. If this is what the correctional center is all about, then it's not helping anyone to correct themselves. Nigeria is messed up, and we have a lot of work to do. But until we as people, I think we need to correct our brain before we even build all this correctional center, because correctional center in Nigeria is actually the most corrupt center in Nigeria. It is even more corrupt than Nigeria itself as a whole. Nigerian jail is the most corrupt place in Nigeria, more corrupt than any other thing you can. Because the title that is given to it, correctional center. And in that correctional center, it seems that Nigerian hates Nigeria. That's how it seems to me. Because everything we do to our people is just to oppress our people and never to liberate our people. And I ask myself, why do we hate ourselves as people in Nigeria or Africa? Why do we hate ourselves? Do you imagine that people who are being held for maybe fraud, certain people who committed murders and they were put in jail, you kind of ask yourself questions like, why does the warders who are supposed to restrict these people from using certain drugs, how come do they bring in drugs to people? There are a lot of drugs I saw a lot of people taking, and it knocks them off. There's one they call colos. There are a lot of, you want to talk about tramadol, you want to talk about every kind of drug you expect, they give them. But they don't give them the one of alcohol. And most people don't understand the reason why Nigeria warders in correctional center, why they don't give other things. Super messed up, yeah. That's why I stopped going. That's why you stop going to church, because they make it worse. Everyone thinks for themselves. That's true. That's true. The church is a different ballgame. But let me just finish this statement on one thing about warders in Nigerian jail first. I will come back to that church issue. On warders, they give people whatever drugs you can take in jail that will knock you out, that will make you weak, that will make you feel this ecstasy in your body. Nigerian warders will provide it in jail. Now, I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but based on my experience, I would say what I see. They would give you drugs, whatever drugs you want, you are going to find it. Not the warders that are selling it, but I think, based on what I've observed, is that they have certain, we have what we call elders in each cell. You may call them section 1, and we have prosecutors and the rest of it. Now, they link up with those people. Sometimes it comes through the food sellers and the rest of it. One way or the other, drugs are being sold inside correctional centers that should be fixing people. Now, when people start getting money, you will be so surprised that within some sales, some people do transactions, you want to get POS and the rest of it, you want to withdraw money, all those stuff happen. I don't know if I should be against those things. I'm not even thinking about all those ones, because I think that the way they feed people in prison or in Nigerian jail, they actually do certain things to weaken the men. And you can't go to jail, you are going to see a lot of people having poor health. And if you're actually there to correct people, why would you put their health in jeopardy? Why wouldn't you take the health of the people serious? Certain people are trying to do their best. But what I'm saying is that they give you those drugs, but they don't give you alcohol. Warders will sell everything, but they wouldn't give you alcohol. Then when I ask myself questions, I was now asking some of the sections, those who have been in jail for about 9 years and the rest of it 10 years. I asked them, I said, why would they give people access to get drugs in jail, but they wouldn't give people alcohol? And then while they were all giving me their own opinions and the rest, and then it came to my mind, alcohol actually makes people get angry, and it creates kind of rage. And if it creates the rage, the people in jail will fight back. But if you give them drugs that will weaken them, they would not want to resist whatever the warders are doing. And then if you're a Nigerian and you're watching me, I know you have this understanding. You see how Hausas used to control cows, how Amalam used to control cows. That is exactly how they control people in jail. It's not an issue of mutual respect, like you're trying to educate these people. Maybe some people have been in jail because they assault, maybe they are not good in expressing themselves and the rest of it. The warders, they have good warders. In fact, in Ikoyi Correctional Center, they are good warders, but majority of them would not speak to you in respect. Rather, they chase people just like exactly the way cows do. The way Malam chase cow, that's exactly how they treat the people there. And they actually specify this for the poor people. Now, the question is, if you are trying to correct maybe the habits of the people and you want them to become useful in society, why treat them like animals? When you treat people like animals without respect and you want them to come out of the jail or out of prison and they become better people, how does that mathematics work? Now, going back to the issue that Mr. Adiola Olubode spoke about, church. That is the foundation of prison. That is what prison is now set for in Nigeria. Churches everywhere. In fact, services are running 247 in Nigerian jail. Anglican, Baptist, Catholic, what else? These are the major churches. And I want you to know something about these churches. These are the same churches that are missionaries that came to Nigeria before 1960. Baptist, Catholic, Anglican, these are the biggest church worldwide. And these are the churches that are in our prison system. And it got to a point I began to observe something that I never knew about. And I was asking myself, why is church everywhere? Sometimes you hear people bring out these options of, we want to help those who are cultists. And there was a time I experienced this. Church people came to Nigerian jail and they said that if you are a cultist, come out. If you know you are a cultist, come out. This is an experience. This is a true life experience. So I saw certain guys, they were going out and they were going, they say, if you are going to renounce being a cultist, we are going to pay you 5,000 naira. I don't know if I should be calling out this money. And the guys who went there, they asked them, where do you belong? You want to cross carpet to Jesus? And they gave this guy money. And they did the service for them. And I asked myself question. You want to change youths not to participate in cultism. And the best thing you think you can do is to give them money and to let them praise God. How does that stop cultism? They were cultists because of certain reasons. Because of the economic crisis, because of their upbringing, because of lack of education, because of the corruption in the country, because of the hardship in the land. And now you are giving them money to stop being cultists in jail. And they should just surrender. I don't know how Nigerians, how we come up with this mentality that just raising our hands unto God and saying that I accept you, Lord, as my Lord and personal Savior, that has settled your old scores. That means your life is now in order. When Jesus himself said it, Yeshua himself said it, that some people would say that I call your name and I did certain healing by your name and this, and it will say, I know ye not. You think just pronouncing and saying that I have accepted you as my Lord and personal Savior, you think that has changed your mentality on how you think? It is because we fool ourselves with this idea of grace. There's grace for everyone. Either you give your life to Christ or you don't give your life to Christ. Either you're a religious person or you're not a religious person. There is grace for every single one of us. The same rain that fall on the corrupt, that fall on Yaya Bello and the rest governors, is the same rain that still fall on me, who tend to be who tend to come on social media. Grace is the same for everyone. Now, certain people will run out of grace at some point, and that is applicable to those who also give their life to Christ or who are being religious. Grace knows no bound, and grace can remove itself from anyone's life. So when we don't understand, I think religion, I've said it before, if you go through history, African history, you will realize that the only reason why we have education in the first place is specifically because of religion. They were trying to teach us how to read the Bible, the scripture. The Bible that was called the little book, that they had to cut a lot of chapters. When you look at the Bible itself, it is 66 books. 66 books was brought to African, 66 books were removed by Europeans, and we have the lost book of the Bible that was also removed. The book of Enoch that was also removed. All this historical part of the Israelites were all removed, and they gave us a story that gives us a particular illustration. And that illustration is to make sure that we as Africans do not revenge because of what they've done to us. They were the one who enslaved us, and they were the one who gave us liberty because they knew they could not continue. And when they gave us liberty, they had to give us religion. And what was the work of religion? To make sure we don't revenge. Forgive those who have hurt you. And we live by it till date. And we think, and they had to do what? They had to first of all destroy our own culture and tradition. Our own ways of life. And that's why we are lost. And I want you to understand that what is the perception they sold to us as Africans in the first place when they came? They had to make us feel like we are paying too much to serve idols. Perhaps they say we are serving idols. We had Eledumare. We have what do you call? We worship God as Eledumare. We have Orunmila. We had our own practice that we do, and sometimes they say in these practices there are chickens. You do certain sacrifice and the rest of it. Now, when they came, they made us feel that yes, the Bible is not complete. I agree with you. The Bible is just 66 books. If you read 46 books, the lost book of the Bible, you can even go on Google Play Store right now, download the lost book of the Bible. You're going to see it. You're going to also see the book of Enoch. And when you read it, that's when you begin to observe that Nigerian, what did he call it? Sorry. That the story of Adam and Eve, that they have 2 children. They don't have 2 children. They had 5 children. When you read the book of, if you see the story of Noah and the rest of it, and when you apply all these things together and you come to the story of Abraham and the rest of it, and they talk about God wiping the whole earth and the rest of it, you are still going to observe that the Egyptians, when you read the book of the Egyptians, they were existing before Adam and Eve. If we had to trace it back to history. So Adam and Eve, unfortunately, they are not the first people on earth. I don't want to dive into that rabbit hole. But if you read through Egypt's history, they were existing. So what I'm saying is that the story they had to bring to us is that we are sacrificing cows, we are sacrificing goats, we are sacrificing chicken, and these deities that we worship and the rest of it, some people do worship those things. Do I support it? I don't know. But if they are our culture and they are our originality, I can't be against it. Now, there's a caveat there. The same Bible who gave us the illustration that we should not kill cows and the rest of it, they were burning cows. How many cows did Solomon kill? How many rams did Abraham kill? How many rams and cows and sheep and calf did the Israelites keep killing? Then it came to a point, maybe Jesus came and the rest of it, and then they stopped those sacrifices. But if you go to the Israel till date, where they practice Judaism, they still do those same things because they don't believe in Christ Jesus, which his name is Yeshua, not Jesus. Jesus is a name that was given by the Anglicans. In fact, there's a book they call Anunnaki, and if you listen to a man called Balkausin or something that talks about Anunnaki, Jesus was actually married and he had children. But I don't want to run. Okay, I have access to the book of Enoch. Yeah, Mr. Adeola, if you want to go more and you want to see how Jesus died, a lot of things that happened, a lot of stories, go and just try the lost book of the Bible. That particular place, you're going to see every other chapters that are being removed from the Bible. When you read those history and you compare it together, you would realize that the purpose of them removing certain passages of the Bible, history talks about the life of some people. History does not give us a guideline. History just talks about the past. We are the one to now use the story of the past to guide ourselves, because they make their own errors. So when you are looking at the lost book of the Bible, then you would see that the purpose at which the Bible was brought to the Africans is not actually serving the purpose, because it was just an indoctrination to make us think in a certain kind of way. Everything that we are being promised and the rest of it, it's not exactly what it seems to be. Hello, Riley. Welcome back. So we are suffering as Africans. And the cause of every suffering starts from your belief system. If you don't have the right beliefs as people, you would suffer certain consequence. In fact, every consequence of our life is as a result of our belief system. If we believe in the wrong things, we portray a wrong action that gives us the result we have. For your brother AJ, I believe every single one of us have the ability to pray, and God is going to heal your brother AJ. As long as you have the faith and you pay attention to everything that is going on with him, God is going to definitely heal him. But healing comes when we do what is right, what is proper. And I believe there's nothing beyond what the universe can do. As long as we have the desire, as long as we have the connection with the universe, God finds his way to make things work. And I believe by God's grace, your brother is going to be healed. AJ. Amen. I have to use the Christian way to end it. Amen. So when we have the full picture of the Bible, it tells us exactly where we are today. So I started today's subject with talking about African corruption. And every time we begin to trace down the things that are going on within Africa, we will realize it is always apparent that we know that, you're welcome, Mr. Riley. I appreciate you. We realize that Africans, we have a lot of wrong beliefs, and we wrestle with our originality. And because we wrestle with our originality, we keep having issues as people. And until some of us learn to liberate ourselves, I cannot make a change totally to Nigerian. I don't think I have that power. I don't think any individual have that power because we are messed up by our belief system. I'm just speaking out to the people. Please, if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to my channel because I'll be summarizing everything. I think Africans, because we have diverse culture and the rest of it, the Europeans, they've been able to penetrate us and they've been able to give us the beliefs that we are not supposed to have in the first place. And we believe in the things that are not true is part of the reasons why we are what we are today, or our life is where it is at this particular junction. So I will be going out and doing whatever I have to do for the day. I will be on live by Thursday. I'll be on live by Saturday. So thank you very much for joining me today. Mr. Riley, have a great day. AJ is going to be fine. And thank you, Mr. Adeola Ulubode, and every other person who has contributed in today's episode. I appreciate you all. I hope today's message has been useful. God help our EFCC, our law enforcement, because our law enforcement, when they are corrupt, that is when a country is corrupt. If the law enforcement are actually doing their due diligence and they are not corrupt, I believe corruption will be reduced. If those who are supposed to uphold the law are the ones breaking the law and cannot even keep to their statement or to their words, then what hope do we have as people? But by God's grace, we can't give up on the things that God has given us. We have to fix Nigeria, and we have to fix it by having serious dialogue and the rest of it. If you want to be joining me on live, you want to come live, just let me know. You can write to me through my email, or maybe I'm going to put my contact also back on my YouTube page. And you think we can have any discussion, you are always welcome. We can always make our time and have a live show. Have a blessed day. Adios, amigos. All right, Mr. I'll be expecting to hear from you. Have a great day. Bye bye.